Hello, YouTube. This is Chelsea with the Story. We're going to watch some Modern Marvels today. We're going to learn about how ice cream is made. Y'all know I like learning about food. I'm very food motivated. So grab your snackies, grab your bevies if you want to help me grow, etc. Do algorithmic interactions with me, such as like, comment, subscribing, getting notifications, etc. Yeah, let's learn how ice cream's made. Ice cream! I did it. This one. Okay. Oh, let me turn off faces because that's just going to be down there. It's going to make me mad. Okay. Ice cream!
It's everyone's favorite. Big time, small.
We don't have a Baskin Robbins in my town anymore. We used to. And then the mall was then closed down. I'm so upset. Oh, is it quiet? I'm so upset because like I want a Baskin Robbins. All of the like ice cream places keep closing down or getting worse. Like I don't know. I feel like TCBY is fine. I do have a TCBY, but that's like soft ice cream, and I want like a harder ice cream. You feel me? Like, I don't know how to explain it. So apparently there is a Cold Stone. I think it's in like Northport. It's like going to it's near City Hall. It's like near City Hall in this like new little strip mall thingy. I think I haven't been there, but I've passed it, and my hair guy that lives out that way says that it's there. So yeah, one day we can go. If we end up doing something next weekend, we can go check it out. I can, if I have time, I can go try to check it out at some point. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. Anyway.
Time, love it. Anytime. Whether it's vanilla, chocolate, or whatever.
We need some M&Ms. How about brownies? Sure, all right, why not?
We've got the scoop on the centuries-old dessert in all of its
machine.
flavorful forms.
Is it too loud
good.
now? Or is that
That's
good?
a 10.
From the cow to the cone. It's the untold story of ice cream on Modern Marvels.
Do you guys ever do like gelato? When I go and visit a family in Florida, where they are, there's a lot of gelato places. Like a lot. I don't know why. And like this one little shopping area, there's like 4 gelato places and then also a Ben and Jerry's. I don't know why, but there's a lot. I like gelato too. Also, like, I also had some when I was in Rome. But yeah, like I like hard ice cream. Like, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I love TCBY. I like going to get some chocolate yogurt. But also just like harder ice cream. You know what I'm talking about? Like it hits. It hits different. Excuse me. Play. Okay. I'm eating popcorn, by the way. Do you hear the crunch?
Welcome to a world like none you've ever seen. A magical land of ice cream floats, chocolate waterfalls, and frozen fantasies.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory ain't got nothing on us.
This is the Dryers
I mean, they got
plant
OSHA
in
violations.
Bakersfield, California, the world's largest and busiest ice cream factory. Each year, the 28 production lines churn out 90 different ice cream products, totaling over 100 million gallons. That helps satisfy the world's 4 billion gallon a year appetite.
Hell yeah.
Not surprisingly, one of the leaders is the good old USA.
You know those like M&M cookie sandwich ice cream thingies? I want one of those. It was I used to get them in high school because that was one of the like snacks they had at lunch. And they were so good. Also because they were like super hard frozen, so they were definitely hard. But also like just, I like the little like off-brand or grocery store brands mini ice cream sandwiches. Have you ever gotten those? Like, yeah, Bluebell's great. Not saying they're not. But I like the whatever store brands mini ones. I love those.
The average person downs 23.2 quarts a year.
We're all kids when it comes to ice cream. We all love it. You know, it's comfort food.
I'm sorry. Reaction Thursday, baby. I rediscovered somewhat recently Dairy Queen because I forgot that there was one near me, and I rediscovered that, and like, it's pretty good. And then also when I was on a road trip recently, I stopped by a Love's gas station, like truck stop, that had a McDonald's, and it was before 9 p.m. So I was like, "Hey, yo, your ice cream up?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'd like a sundae." And it was worth it.
You've had a bad day? Have a bowl of ice cream. You've had a good day? Celebrate with a bowl of ice cream.
Today, ice cream production is a sophisticated and technologically advanced science. But the same basic principles from hundreds of years ago still apply.
The way we make ice cream in the manufacturing scale is the same way that you would make ice cream at home in a hand-turned freezer.
Extra
the differences
fudge.
are, obviously, we do it in scale in a continuous process rather than a batch process at home.
Look at that one
The
spin.
process begins with ice cream's most important ingredient, milk.
The total liquid supply of this facility is about 500,000 gallons. So we take those basic ingredients of milk, condensed milk, and cream coupled with sugars, and that makes the base mix. And we'll also add in cocoa powders and stabilizers
Holy malto.
into the mix room.
Once the mix has been blended, it's piped to the pasteurizer, where it's heated to
Right
179
round
degrees
like
for
a
25
record, baby.
seconds
Right brown,
to kill
right
bacteria.
brown.
Then it's homogenized, forced through tiny valves at a pressure
homogenize
of
me,
4,000
baby.
pounds per square inch to break down and disperse the fat globules.
You can disperse my fat globules. Okay, I'm sorry.
Just like putting your thumb over a hose,
Shit.
it aspirates that mix and creates a very consistent or homogeneous product.
The product is then cooled.
So, I'm a child. We know this. Mentally, we know this. I'm super immature. I'm also in a weird mood, so it's going to be worse.
Cooled to 40 degrees before being pumped into the various flavor tanks.
Yeah, flavor
We'll add
me.
in the cherry flavors or the
No,
strawberry
thank you.
flavoring. And as we get into the
Listen, I just like a chocolate. Just a chocolate. The chocolate's great. Occasionally, I will go for like a cake batter. But now they are so sweet. Like, because I've tried to like cut back on like, I've tried to snack more healthy stuff. I've jumped off that wagon just about while it's moving because like I got conventions coming up. And so like my snacking gets worse. I'm like, I deserve a treat. But I did cut down the amount of sugar a lot. So like now it's so sweet. The cake ones, like the cake batter, but just like a good chocolate, milk or dark chocolate, like baby, yeah. I don't like the strawberry shit. I don't like give me chocolate.
freezer, now is where we begin to create the ice cream.
The flavored mix is continuously pumped into the freezer.
I mean, I'm not gonna turn down a vanilla if someone's like, oh man, okay, so when I was in Japan last, right? There was this little cafe place that was really close to where I was staying. And I went there once just randomly. Because, like, I think Ray wanted, like, omu rice or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll try, like, their beef stew. And then I found out their beef stew is just a fucking pot roast with extra stuff in it. And I was like, yes. That place had the best dessert. Like, it had, like, a La Crema ice cream that was, like, soft and kind of sweet. Like, it was, like, a soft serve. And then they had, like, a little dark chocolate, like, molten lava cake, like a little one that was bitter. And then they had, like, a little... But, like, so the ice cream wasn't super sweet, right? But it was a little sweet. And then they had, like, a little sugar cone off to the side, right? It paired so well together. It was so good. I went there like 3 fucking times, and 2 of the times was just to get the damn dessert. Like, I'm sure they were like, please leave us alone. But like, because I kept going back there, I was like, you know what? We deserve a treat. So I would wait in line to get seated and then just be like, hi, yes, I would like this ice cream. I'd like this dessert. So like, and it was just a vanilla soft ice cream. It was so good. That whole dessert worked so well together. Oh, I will go there again. But nothing's wrong with vanilla. Vanilla's good. I like vanilla chocolate chip that no one has anymore. Like now it's just mint chocolate chip. Get that shit out of here. I don't want to eat toothpaste. People are going to come for me, but like I don't like mint in my ice cream. And if you do, that's fine. Not hating on you. I'm just saying you have replaced regular vanilla chocolate chip. It doesn't really exist anymore. It's super rare to find. It's really annoying. You can find it in gelato, weirdly enough, but you can't find it just regular, right? Which is annoying. But it is what it is. Anyway, going back to it.
And enters a long, cold cylinder that is jacketed by a liquid ammonia freezing agent.
Dippin' Dots.
The temperature of the mix drops to 21 to 23 degrees. As the mix freezes to the walls of the cylinder, ice crystals are scraped off by the revolving blades of a paddle called a dasher. The blades have an additional purpose, whipping
I
air
can
into
bash
the
you.
mix, creating the frozen foam we know as ice cream.
Hell yeah.
One of the largest
You
ingredients
spin.
inside ice cream that most people don't know is actually air. We call it overrun. Premium products are required to have 100% overrun. So for every 1 cup of mix, we add 1 cup of air.
All right.
In the U.S., ice cream must by definition contain at least
Cool. Mix that shit together and put it in your freezer, Abby. Make your own damn ice cream.
10% butterfat. When it's pumped out of the freezer, it has the consistency of soft serve. But that won't last for long. The carton's next
This is entirely off the subject, Kumo, but did you know that in Tennessee it is legal to have a raccoon as a pet, but it is not legal in Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi? I'm just saying. Anyway, sorry about your winter warning, man.
add into the blast harder, kept at a bone-chilling 65 degrees below zero. Within hours, the ice cream's temperature will drop to 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Haha.
A blast hardener is really intended to draw all that heat out of it as fast as we can, because the colder we can get it, the faster we can get it.
Freeze
the
it solid,
less
baby.
probability we have of creating ice crystals in the product. And ice crystals are really what create that grittiness feel in your mouth. So ice cream manufacturing is all about
I'm okay with a
time
little
and
bit
temperature.
of like ice crystal
Not to
grittiness,
mention
you know?
taste. And no one knows that better than Dreyer's official taste tester, John Harrison. A man whose tongue is so sensitive, it's been insured for $1 million.
Bro. Nice.
What I look for in tasting ice cream is
You can't have
three
hot
things.
drinks.
Now, we all initially eat with our eyes, so it must look appetizing. Number 2 is the flavor and flavor balance. And thirdly is the body and texture.
John's job is to make sure that each carton lives up to its premium label in terms of taste and presentation.
Sort of like a wine taster. I start with the white wines of ice cream, vanilla, French vanilla, vanilla bean, double vanilla, and I work my way up to the
What is
heavy
double
Bordeaux
vanilla?
of ice cream, such as a black walnut, mint chocolate chip.
When tasting ice cream, John uses a gold-plated spoon that doesn't leave an aftertaste.
Hell yeah.
Pure vanilla.
Fancy.
My tasting method is the 3 S's, which stands for swirl, smack, and spit. Whew, that's good. Cookies and cream. You don't
Meh.
have to swallow to taste. We swallow to get nutrition. You get the cream, the cookies, vanilla, sweetness. As you can see, I've been swallowing more than I should. It's so good, though.
The ice cream John's tasting is very
Vanilla and vanilla 2 electric boogaloo, baby. But yeah, what is vanilla 2? Like, what is double vanilla? Like, what is that?
different from the world's first ice cream.
I
wish I could tell you ice cream was invented on this day with this person, but the fact is, we don't really know where ice cream was invented or
Vanilla
when.
Jr.
We do know that there's lots of myths and legends around ice cream.
Many believe the Emperor Nero would send slaves into the mountains to bring back snow and ice for snow ice cream, made with wine, fruit, and honey.
Nice.
Another legend has Marco Polo returning from China with a recipe for a sherbet-like dessert.
Ice cream as we know and love it today really has its roots in Italy, where they call their ice cream gelato. The Italians really perfected ice cream in their cafes, in high society. We can thank the Italians for that.
Compared to American ice cream, gelato contains less fat and less added air. As a result, it has a rich, creamier taste.
Gelato varies from region to region, and even within a city, you can have something very different.
It's like rose water.
But the Italians do tend to use more milk and less cream than American-style ice cream.
John Snyder is America's gelato guru. At Il Laboratorio del Gelato on New York's Lower East Side, he creates this centuries-old dessert for more than 200 of Manhattan's finest restaurants.
Does anybody else, because like that dude was like in full, like it's cold here, it's winter, I have like a hat and a jacket and stuff. Does anybody else only really want ice cream when it's cold? Because I'm so bad about that. I'm like, it's cold, time to get an ice cream, time to get an icy or a slushy or something cold. That's when I want it. Girl, you're always cold.
Today we're going to be making espresso gelato, and we begin with just pure espresso beans. We use about a gallon of espresso beans for one batch of gelato. And this goes right in the blender with the beans.
Next, John adds 2 gallons of a base mix consisting of milk, cream, and sugar. He then blends the mixture and heats
Was that on
infusing
Was that like on a scale, or was he just measuring with his heart?
the beans into the mix.
And just let this come to almost a boil, but not quite.
An hour later, it's
God,
time to
that
strain
would
out the
probably
beans.
Drop that.
John then adds a little fresh brewed coffee to the bean and milk concoction and pours it into a gelato machine for churning and freezing. 3 additional gallons of base mix round out the recipe.
Well, the recipes that I've created are based on years of a lot of tasting in my travels all over the world. We try and make just the very best and also the very purest. And I can start taking it out.
Okay.
20 minutes later, it's gelato time.
Gelato time.
This gelato will give you a pretty good jolt. Espresso.
Okay, so the last time I had gelato, again, like a day or two before Christmas, I was in Florida, went to a gelato place. They had limoncello, and I was like, So I was like, can I try their limoncello? And they're like, yeah. It was like being punched in the mouth. Like it was definitely like limoncello. Like it was aggressively limoncello. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I expected. Anyway, can I have a dark chocolate? It was not lemon gelato. It was limoncello flavor. Like the drink, like the alcohol. Like limoncello, like not just lemon, limoncello. And it did taste, it had that punch. I was like, oh yeah, yep. It does taste like that. It was a punch to the mouth. I was like, dang. And then I had a dark chocolate. It was great.
Best way to start your day.
It's doubtful whether America's founding fathers started their days off with espresso gelato, but they did enjoy their ice cream. George Washington was a fan. Thomas Jefferson had a weakness for vanilla.
I like
And
their
Dolly
edits.
Madison served it at her husband's second inauguration. But it was the invention of the salt and ice hand-cranked batch freezer in 1846 by housewife Nancy John.
Did anybody else have an ice cream machine growing up? Like, that was randomly a thing that my parents bought. Because, like, it's like early 2000s. It was like a craze to, like, make your own ice cream for whatever fucking reason. And so everyone, like, the ice cream machines, like, the home ice cream machines, like, got really popular. And everyone fucking had one for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay. And then, like, I remember making them in, I remember making ice cream in chemistry class. And mine always turned it out salty. Like, I don't know if there's like an osmosis thing with the bags or what, but like mine always turned out a little salty.
That turned ice cream into a household food that everyone could enjoy. That old homemade method is still revered at Penn State University, the country's leading authority on the making of ice cream.
Really? All right, Penn State.
We'll use this demonstration with the salt and ice freezer to demonstrate the basic principles that underlie freezing of ice cream mix into ice cream. The freezing cylinder will be charged to be roughly half full of ice cream mix. Then the scraping mechanism is inserted into...
they didn't come out like when you made it at home, it didn't come out like hard. It came out like almost melted. Like you know when like your ice cream is like a little too melted? It came out like that. I don't know. A little overrated.
To the freezing system. Now, this freezer is very similar to the freezer that Nancy Johnson developed in 1846, except that we have an electric motor rather than a hand crank.
Salt and ice are added to act as the freezing agent. They form a brine solution.
Yeah, I know. So ice cream in commercials and movies, and also just in like pictures, like advertisements, it's not ice cream. It's like mashed potatoes. Much like on pancakes, how they're like, oh, look at the syrup. It's motor oil. It's not syrup, because they want it to look a certain way. So, yeah, and like the milk is like glue. Like, like taking pictures of food is funny because like it's all like advertisement and stuff. It's all fake. Because like for ice cream specifically, like it'll start melting, right? So you know what doesn't melt? Mashed potatoes.
Which has a very low freezing point. As the brine absorbs heat from the ice cream mix in the cylinder, the mix itself begins to freeze.
And you'll notice that in this system, the scraper mechanism is fixed, and the cylinder rotates around the scraper mechanism here.
45 minutes later, the ice cream is ready.
Oh, and you can see that this is whipped up nicely. If you look carefully, you can see little balls, and you'll see this kind of stringiness. A part of this is due to the ice, and part of this is also due to destabilized fat that's in the ice cream because of the long, slow churning process. But this is truly homemade ice cream.
Okay, now freeze it more.
While most of today's ice cream makers have abandoned the old-fashioned methods, tradition lives on at Grater's, a family-run business in Cincinnati.
We are the only ice cream company, I think, anywhere in the world that uses the French pot method of making ice cream. If you Google French pot, you'll find us and nobody else.
Yeah, good.
Grater's is a fourth-generation company that has been making ice cream the same basic way for more than 130 years.
It's purple.
The process begins with pouring 2 gallons of ice cream mix into one of Grater's unique French pots.
Okay, you gonna explain that to me,
This
or?
is a very similar ice cream freezer to what we started with in 1870. It's been modernized slightly, mechanicalized, in modern refrigeration. What it consists of is a 5-gallon stainless steel drum submerged in calcium chloride.
As the pot slowly spins, the mix begins to freeze against its sides. A blade softly scrapes the sides, folding the ice cream into itself. This folding process prevents air from whipping into the ice cream and accounts for its thick and creamy consistency.
The reason no one else uses the
Black
French pot
raspberry
today is
shit.
it's so labor intensive. You can only make 2 gallons per machine, and modern ice cream machines, even the small ones, will make 10 gallons in 10 minutes.
After 15 minutes of spinning, the ice cream is ready to be packed. But it's so dense that no equipment can handle it.
I want
All
it.
of our pints are hand packed. There
I
is no
want it.
automation back there. Our packing machine is named Bud.
His
We
name
pack about
Bud.
6,000 pints that way on a daily basis.
Where a typical pint of ice cream may weigh as little as 8 ounces, a grater's pint weighs nearly a full pound.
Ooh.
The unique thing about Grater's ice cream is it is just like what your great-grandparents would have had over 100 years ago. We are literally the only people in the world that continue to use the French pot process to make ice cream, and we're still making it just 2 gallons at a time.
By the late 1800s, people were getting their ice cream at mom-and-pop soda fountains, like this one. Aglamesis Brothers in Cincinnati.
When you walk into a nostalgic ice cream parlor like this, you're really
Look at their
coming back
lamps.
to a place that doesn't really exist anymore on this planet.
This shop is only one of a handful of soda fountains that remains from the period.
This is the authentic ice cream fountain that we've had since this building was built in 1913.
Our formulas are actually the same as they were many years ago.
That was
in
fancy.
respect to cream, honey, eggs, and sugar in our product.
What flavor do you like?
The late 1800s ushered in an era of ice cream innovations. Among them, a colorful combination that included ice cream, flavored toppings, and whipped cream. The ice cream sundae.
No, thank you.
More than half a dozen communities claim to be its birthplace. Everywhere from Two Rivers, Wisconsin, where a historical marker commemorates the event,
Yeah, the community has always taken great pride in the history of being home of the ice cream sundae.
By the way, when I said no thank you, it was about the whipped cream. I can't do whipped cream. No thank you. But ice cream and some fudge, hit me up, baby.
Invented by one Ed Berners at his ice cream parlor in the Franklin House building in 1881.
You can keep the fucking cherry too.
to Ithaca, New York.
The story that's claimed in Ithaca is that the sundae was invented in 1892 at Colt and Platt's Pharmacy. There's no documentation for the Berners story and several pieces of documentation for the Ithaca story.
To Evanston, Illinois.
One pharmacist in Evanston, according to legend, decided to serve ice cream with syrup on Sunday as a way of driving sales. And out of respect for the Lord's name, he changed the spelling from D-A-Y to D-A-E.
We may never know who really invented the ice cream sundae, but we do know every sundae needs a dish. And if you don't have a dish, you'd better have ice cream's most trusted companion, the cone.
What's y'all's favorite kind of cone? Personally, I like getting cups. I don't really want the cone that's extra shit for me to eat that I don't really care about. But like I like sugar cones if I have to get a cone. You like waffle? I like sugar. They're softer. They have like, I don't know how to explain it. They're like softer and like almost spongier. Maybe it's like, maybe it's a part of my brain that's like, eat the styrofoam. Maybe it helps that intrusive thought.
For hundreds of years, ice cream was content to go it alone, served up in dishes, bowls, and glasses. But since the turn of the 20th century, it's been married to the perfect partner. That would be the cone. A wonderful little invention with
Sugar.
but one purpose.
Also, waffle cones are hard.
Really a vehicle just to eat ice cream. So you don't.
Oh, but there's one place in like Rhode Island that makes their own fucking cones. And so they're like the waffle cones, like they still make it in store, but like it's slightly softer because it's like super fresh. And it smells so good. Like I still go in there, I'm like, hey, I want a sugar cone. But like it smells so good.
Don't buy cones unless you're buying ice cream.
And by the looks of things, people are buying a whole lot of ice cream. This is the Joy Cone Company in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, the world's largest ice cream cone plant. Every year, Joy Cone turns out a staggering 1.5 billion cones. That's over 5.5 million cones every day. Amazing when you consider the genesis of the first cone.
There's a couple different competing theories, but the one that we adhere to is in the 1904 World's Fair. It was in St. Louis, and there was two vendors. One was making waffles, and the person next to him was selling scoops of ice cream in a dish. Well, the ice cream vendor ran out of dishes, and so the waffle cone vendor folded the waffle into a conical shape. And so they started serving the ice cream inside the waffle, and it was developed as the waffle cone.
Waffle cones are still being made at Joy Cone, as are sugar cones and the crispy flat-bottomed cake cones.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are they called cake cones? What's a fucking sugar cone then? Excuse me? Okay. Could you explain what? Could you explain this to me?
A cake cone is made with some basic ingredients. Flour, tapioca flour, water, sugar, and then minor ingredients.
I need you to explain the differences
dumped
to
into
me.
a mixer, cooled,
And I need to visually see them. Like, what is a sugar cone versus a cake cone? What is that?
and then pumped as a liquid batter into the ovens.
Show me a sugar
The
cone,
cake
damn
cone
it.
is a molded product. Batter's formed into the mold, and then a plug drops into the mold. So the batter forms between the cavity and the plug. It goes in liquid. 90 seconds later, it'll drop out as a fully formed cone. And as you can see, we're making color cups today. The cones come out of the oven at about 350 degrees.
What's a sugar
and they come
cone,
down the
then?
conveyor to cool off before they're packed onto the conveyor. This oven is going to generate over 120,000 cones in a single day, and the whole line over 700,000 cones in one day.
Quality control is never a problem at Joy Cone, with CEO Joe George working the floor.
You want it to be well baked without being burnt in any
Has to do with the
spot.
shape?
And you want it to be soft in texture without being too weak. And it's got to taste good.
Uh-huh.
And this
So
one
what's a...
passes the test.
Uh-huh. What's a sugar cone?
Unlike the molded cake cones, sugar cones and waffle cones are rolled products, baked flat in the oven. Once they're warm and malleable, they're dropped upon a spinner that forms the actual cone shape.
This is our sugar cone machine, which produces 10,000 cones an hour, or 240,000 cones a day.
Okay, I guess I like the
When
cake
we make all these
cones.
cones, we want to make sure it's excellent taste. But we also need to make sure it's a nice sealed tip, because we want to make sure that you're eating the ice cream and not wearing it.
Now you try it.
The folks at Baskin-Robbins have turned...
Okay, any fucking time I'm at a place that have different cones and they're like, which one do you want? Usually they have like 3 to 5 different fucking waffle cones, because they'll have like regular waffle cone, they'll have like chocolate dipped or like sprinkles or like nuts or whatever on the waffle cone. And then they have like, I guess the quote unquote cake cone, but they're like, what do you want? And I'm like, oh, can I get a sugar cone? They always give me the, what is now being told to me is a cake cone. Like, what the fuck? I feel gaslit and lied to. What? Like, yeah. And when I'm like, oh, I want that one, they'll be like, oh, the sugar cone? And I'll be like, yeah, and that's what they give me. Like, what? What? What is this? I guess I'm learning something, but like, what?
filling
Bruh.
ice cream cones into an art form.
Go.
All workers are trained in the proper technique for making the perfect 4-ounce scoop.
Not too bad. One of our Baskin-Robbins
That looks too
franchisees,
small.
Mitch Cohn from New York,
That cone
holds
looks
the
too small.
Guinness Book of World Record for the most scoops successfully executed and applied to a cone in 1 minute. He did 19 of them.
Okay.
Now we're going to make the perfect scoop using the Baskin-Robbins custom ice cream scoop. Want to get
It's
in
very
there,
round.
get a big chunk, get the ice cream to roll around inside the scoop, make a second pass at it to tighten it up, bring it back, apply it firmly but gently to this cone, and there you go. Perfect ice cream scoop.
The cone looks too small. It's gonna get all over your
And how
hands.
many licks does it take to put away a scoop of ice cream? Who better to ask than John Harrison, the man with $1 million tongue?
A typical cone, one scoop, looking at 4 fluid ounces, it takes about 50 licks to polish off that scoop of ice cream.
We decided to put that number to the test.
So I just coughed, and now I see like a lot of little black spots dancing around in my vision, so I might be dying. I'm okay. Okay, it stopped. I'm okay. I don't know. That's why I paused. I was like, wait a minute. What's wrong? I'm fine. Also, I don't like colorful ice cream. You know, like I don't like it's like, you know, here's a Superman. It's like got a bunch of neon colors in it that are a swirl. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't even like it. Like sometimes I'll make cake batter and it's like blue. And I'm like, why is it blue? It should be like off-white. You're adding dyes to it. Like, and I understand. Like, this is like a mental thing, right? Because like a lot of things that are flavored, certain ways, like they're dyed certain colors, right? And some of them I'm more used to than others, right? But I'm just like, why is it blue? Like, no thanks. Now you see what I have to deal with. Jesus Christ. I don't want to see this girl like this ice cream anymore, to be honest with you.
This lucky lady needed 100 licks. And
Okay, no, that last lick wasn't a lick. Some of those were just bites. She was eating the cone.
And bites. But ice cream consumption can have its headaches. Literally.
Yeah,
At Penn
brain
State
freeze.
University, we learned about the most common. The dread...
I'm sorry, Abby's going off. I fell in the shower twice in hotel rooms. It was a whole thing where Cliff, who works guest relations, was like, maybe you need to take one of those non-slip mats with you. Because twice at 2 different cons in 2 different hotels, I fell in the shower and hurt myself. Like, Abby's like, God damn. Like, God, stop. It wasn't the same month. There are shower bars in most, like, hotel bathrooms, though, like showers.
After the ice cream is taken in and comes in contact with the upper palate of the mouth, it constricts these blood vessels and it restricts the flow of blood. A few seconds later, the palate is rewarmed and these blood vessels dilate and the blood returns to normal. At this point, the blood rush back to the palate is rather significant, and the nerve endings in the upper roof of the mouth sense this as pain. So it's not the ingestion of the cold ice cream, it's actually the return of the warmth after the ice cream is swallowed. And this pain then is transferred to the forehead as a very severe but brief headache.
And the cure for the freeze?
I would recommend taking smaller portions at a time, or licking smaller portions of ice cream off the cone, or eating it from the dish.
But you knew that, didn't you? Of course, the cone isn't the...
I have one regret about this, and it's the fact that I have to see so many people licking ice cream. Like, I quit. I don't want to see you licking things. Like, stop. Every other scene does not need to be someone, like, chowing down. Like, going to town on an ice cream cone, please.
The only way to eat ice cream with one hand.
The ice cream bar was invented in the 1920s when a young boy came into a confectioner's shop in Iowa by the name of Christian Nelson. And the boy only had a nickel, and he couldn't decide between buying ice cream and buying chocolate. And he wanted to have both. And that got Christian Nelson to thinking, how could I put these two things together to satisfy this customer? And what he invented became the Eskimo pie as we know it.
Today, the Eskimo pie and its offshoot,
That's got nuts.
the Eskimo Pie Crunch Bar, are born at the Dryers plant in Bakersfield.
So this is what we would call a molded product. And the mold is essentially just like you'd make an ice cube at home, where you put water into an ice cube tray, only we do it in a much larger scale.
And it's not
that
water.
That means 20,000 bars every hour.
You spray the ice cream inside the mold, and then on the bottom of that, we spray 55 degree below zero brine solution to actually freeze out the product inside that mold. Bar then comes around where it begins to firm up, and we put a stick inside it.
So I don't have, like, these brands. I got, like, I don't know what fucking brand, but I have a... Okay, you're sending me something. I have, like, a... little ice cream bar like this in my freezer right now because they have like low calories and low carbs, and like it's like a nice little treat for myself.
One more revolution and the bars are dumped into a dip tank. That's where
DB, that's okay. I don't know what Abby was calling bullshit. I don't know if she was calling the whole like brain freeze thing bullshit or something I said. So sometimes I don't get it, so I just keep going.
chocolate and puffed rice coating is applied to the Crunch Bar.
Puffed rice. I get it.
Then it's off to be packaged and distributed nationwide.
Abby, I can't check what you're sending me because I'm using my phone for tracking. I'll look at it later.
Ice cream has a soft side too, and that's an industry unto itself.
Or like, I guess, soft serve. Dairy Queen.
Today, ice cream franchises are as much a part of our landscape as ice cream itself. Their roots can be traced to the early days of another great American institution, the automobile.
It's the Vtuber.
As Americans began to use automobiles to get around, it really transformed the way we enjoyed ice cream. As they started to drive to roadside stands and get ice cream right from the stand.
Oh man, okay, so like instead of going to like roadside stands, in like the summer, there's two like shaved ice places that open, and one of them is like a tiny little like super small like house. It's not really a house, it's like a shack. It's like one room. It looks like a little tiny house, and when I say it's one room, it's like tiny. Okay, it's like the size of a closet, and only two people can function inside of it at the same time, I think. But they only open during the summer, so they're only open for like 2 or 3 months, and they sell shaved ice, and I will drive there or like there's another place that's like a trailer that isn't there year round. It's only there during summer. But the place that's there year round, like the physical building's there, but like it's not open. But I go there every summer at least once. Get some shaved ice. I like either grape or like bubblegum.
Typically, they served soft serve.
I still won't see it, Abby.
That really also changed the face of ice cream.
I'll have to look at it later.
It has less butterfat and less added air than hard ice cream.
I like grape because it's purple. It's purple flavor. It doesn't taste like grape. I like purple flavor.
At a higher temperature, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, compared to 5 or 10 degrees with hard ice cream, its flavors are more pronounced.
Ice cream being colder, you have less flavor release. It has a numbing effect on your taste buds. Where at 18 degrees, there's more flavor that comes through.
The ice cream stands could pump out soft serve or frozen custard. a derivative made with egg yolks right on the premises.
I don't really like custard.
The invention of a revolutionary freezer that could continuously dispense a semi-frozen dessert made it all possible. While today's soft-serve freezers are far more advanced, they do share many of the same features.
In a typical ice cream freezer, ice cream is added to the freezing cylinder, it's frozen, it's drawn off, and then it's frozen in the hardening room quiescently. In the case of the soft-serve ice cream freezer, ice cream is available on demand. You get ice cream where all of the freezing has been done only in the agitated freezing cylinder.
Much like a slushie.
The design of a key part of the soft-serve freezer, the dasher, is
Okay, slushie machine is just a soft-serve ice cream machine. Figured it out. All
also
right.
unique.
You can see these plastic pieces which fit over the metal and lock in are going to be actually the scraping mechanism. They'll scrape the ice cream off the walls of the freezer. You'll also notice this helical design which is going to push the ice cream forward so that it'll be ready to draw out at any given time. So now the ice cream's ready.
Okay, now that I understand that that's how a thing, how do you get the two flavors to not mix completely? Like, how do you do that? How's that work?
The soft serve is a little warmer than the typical hard ice cream, which makes it eat a little bit better, so it's soft and refreshing, and it's ready all day long.
I like some soft serve.
One of the first men to see a future in soft serve was J.F. Grandpa McCullough, who along with his son Alex created Dairy Queen.
Nice.
The cone with a curl on top.
In their ice cream plant that they owned and operated, they dispensed ice cream in a soft state out of their freezers on a daily basis. They wanted to deliver that same product to the consumers.
So they connected with a friend of theirs who had a walk-up stand. And they did a test run one day. And in 2 hours, they served more than 1,600 servings of
Jesus, that's
this
so
ice
many
cream.
people.
So they knew they were onto something.
It didn't take long for Dairy Queen to become part of American culture.
Dairy Queen tended to go into towns that were smaller, and it became part of the corner hangout where you walked up to get your soft serve cone and talk to your neighbors and then walk back home.
Hold up. First of all, look at this dude in his sweater. Look at him.
And
is this actual ice cream that's melting? Because this has changed, I think. Like, I think this is actually ice cream in front of her that's melting. Because I think the chocolate's changed. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is.
Today, Galloway Brothers
I'll
of Neenah,
figure it out later.
Wisconsin is one of several plants that produce the base mix for Dairy Queen. The ingredients that go into the mix are almost the same as those in hard ice cream, but the precise formula remains a closely guarded secret.
For Dairy Queen, they have a formula that we must
I like how
meet.
gushy the bag looks.
So much sugar, so much butterfat, so much milk.
The milk is trucked in daily from local dairies, stored in one of several silos, and then piped into a blending tank.
This is where we blend all of the ingredients that go into Dairy Queen. The computer has a list of ingredients such as sucrose, corn syrup, cream, condensed skim milk, and milk. It blends them based on weight with a Coriolis meter. The dry ingredients are added up here. This basically is a great big wearing blender. We put the sucrose and corn syrup in here, then add the dry ingredients, such as stabilizers and flavoring.
Okay.
After the mix is blended, it's pumped into a ballast tank. Heated, pasteurized, homogenized, and then cooled.
Behind me is the final operation in the Dairy Queen manufacturing process. This is our packaging operation. Each machine can fill a 6-gallon bag in about 5 seconds. That's enough to make about 4,000 cones in 1 minute.
Dairy Queen is the world's largest soft-serve franchise, with over 5,700 locations in North America alone.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Is that not a sugar cone? You're the Modern Marvels narrator.
But since the 1970s, the soft serve scene has become a bit more crowded.
Looks weird.
Thanks to frozen yogurt.
TCBY! What's your order at TCBY if you go? I like chocolate yogurt with rainbow sprinkles. That's what I get.
Frozen yogurt really started out as frozen yogurt, which was a very acid, highly flavored product, and that didn't sell very well.
The problem was it didn't taste so great. It was a little bitter, and it wasn't as sweet as ice cream consumers were used to having.
Staring at this ice cream in front of her.
It wasn't until the early 80s that a couple companies started playing around with the yogurt levels and going for a lower acid profile, that all of a sudden it reached a great deal of consumer acceptance. And that's when TCBY really started up in 1981.
That guy has like Gene
And just how did
TCBY
frozen
shirt.
yogurt makers like TCBY succeed? By making their product taste less like yogurt.
I'm so mad. So like twice at least, I have gone out with Abby and Ricey, and we're like, let's get TCBY. Except these bitches are up all day. Like they are up during the day, right? So I'll go meet them like late morning, early afternoon. Yeah. There's a TCBY kind of near where we end up going. That bitch doesn't open till 2. Like you could go through the drive-thru, but you can't go inside this place, like this TCBY, inside. You cannot go inside until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And every single time we're like, let's go get TCBY. It's never 2 o'clock yet. It's not. We have to hang out somewhere else. Like one time we went to Arby's, and just because there was like an Arby's nearby, and I was like, I'm gonna get cheese sticks. And so like we went to Arby's for a little while, and then after 2 we're like, okay, TCBY is open. But like, come on, every time. Like, bruh, it's annoying. Why are you not open until 2? Like, what?
And more like ice cream. It all begins with the mix, produced at Scott Brothers Dairy in Chino, California.
I like Coke
What
floats.
distinguishes us, of course, is the fact that we add a significant amount of yogurt. That yogurt is made in these tanks right here. They're called our culture tanks. We actually culture at about 106 to 107.
Something is going on with that ice cream lady. You're watching it on the other monitor to see. I don't really like mixing sodas with ice cream. Like my grandmother used to do it. She actually had like, so my grandfather was a pharmacist. He had these like great cups for floats because they were shaped almost like a cone, and they were really tall, and they worked great for floats. But like I don't really like floats. Like I don't know. It's a mixing thing, I think, because you guys know I don't like things mixing. So I just don't like it.
Degrees Fahrenheit to help the cultures grow a little bit faster.
It takes 7.5 hours to prepare the yogurt cultures.
Yeah, I don't like cream sodas either.
Flavors are added. Then it's all combined with a base mix and packaged.
Okay, good to know. If I go to TCBY, I'm getting a little bit of like yogurt, and that's that makes me feel like it's a little healthier.
The levels of live active cultures in our yogurt are very high. 25 million per gram is right where those good yogurts that are proclaiming live active cultures are. I think that's the big surprise. My God, that's really yogurt. In the past, there was rumors that frozen yogurt really wasn't yogurt. For us, that's not the case.
Studies suggest that live active cultures improve immunity and digestion. There are other health benefits as well.
Hell yeah, I need to eat more TCBY.
Our yogurt is 50% less calories and 80% less fat than a comparable serving of ice cream. It's just like fresh yogurt, but
it means
you get
hard
it in
ice
a
cream,
way
not soft
that
serve.
You just
All right.
love the taste.
In recent years, several new establishments have come full
Where
circle
the
in
fuck
frozen
is this? What
and
is
are now
this?
selling a tangy tasting product. Among them,
Pinkberry. Okay.
which has attracted an almost cult-like
I feel like we had a pink bear and it closed down. But I could be wrong. I could be thinking about something else.
following in New York and California.
I'm here at least 4 times a week. Most of the time more than once a day. So much so that they know my name.
You probably live near
Pinkberry
here
calls
then.
it frozen yogurt reinvented.
It tastes so different than like every other frozen yogurt or ice cream. It's ridiculous.
Like, I get you. You are loading that shit up with fruit, and that's not what I'm about. Could I get a chocolate yogurt with some rainbow sprinkles, please? And I'm gonna not say anything to you, but I'm gonna complain to myself if it's not actually rainbow. Where's my blue? Why is it always green, white, and red and orange? That's not the rainbow.
Yes. It's like a perfect blend of like sweet and sour and fruity and crunchy. Like all at the same time.
But whether you're having frozen yogurt or good old-fashioned ice cream, the key is how much you eat.
Have a good day.
That's a lot.
Ice cream is an excellent source of protein. It's an excellent source of calcium.
If I get like a large, which I don't even think I do anything. I think I at the most get a medium now. I put that shit in my freezer. Like, I don't eat it all in one sitting.
It is an excellent source of energy.
It's not.
The problem is if you consume ice cream
Where's my
as a
blue and my
staple,
yellow?
then you're consuming too many calories and too many calories from fat.
For many ice cream lovers, calories are a necessary evil.
Yeah.
These folks flip over the high-end, highly dense premium ice creams.
Okay, what's your favorite Ben & Jerry's? My favorite's, crap, what is it called? It's like the super chocolatey one with like the brownie in it. You know what I'm talking about? I don't remember what it's called. Shit. It's been a while since I've had Ben & Jerry's, I would be honest with you. But it's like chocolate and chocolate chips and chocolate sauce and brownies. I like cheesecake.
There was a time when there were only 3 flavors of ice cream. That figure is now ballooned into the hundreds, if not thousands.
I've definitely not had every Ben & Jerry's because it's mixed. It's stuff mixed together. And like, for whatever reason, I'm like, oh yeah, put all that chocolate shit together because my brain goes, it's all just chocolate. If there's white chocolate though, there's a problem. I don't like white chocolate. So like, it kind of like hits my brain in a weird way because like it tastes weird to me. But like, as long as it's all milk chocolate or milk and dark chocolate, like I'm fine with it. Like, give me that shit. It's all chocolate. It's fine. But like, that's the only Ben & Jerry's I eat is like the chocolate one.
But for sheer outrageousness, nothing tops the flavorful creations of Ben & Jerry's.
Mm-hmm.
We make great, fun, funky, chunky ice cream. Lots of big chunks in it, swirls. We make the ice cream impossible flavor possible.
Vermont's most popular tourist attraction began in 1978 as a tiny homemade ice cream parlor run by childhood friends Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield. Interestingly enough, ice cream wasn't their first choice.
We originally thought about bagels, checked out bagel making equipment, found out it was more money than we had, and figured ice cream had to be cheaper.
30 years later, Ben & Jerry's is a cultural institution.
Ben & Jerry's ice cream is made with all natural
they
ingredients.
made it.
So we start right here in Vermont with
Good
lots
for
of
them.
fresh dairy that we get here, milk and cream, sugar, eggs. We're also going to be adding in other great ingredients that we use as add-ins.
The add-ins, or inclusions, can range from broken pieces of popular candy bars to fruits and nuts of every shape and size.
You chew when you eat your ice cream. That was one of the bases of when they made their ice cream. We're gonna have ice cream, we're gonna chew it, is what Ben & Jerry's started.
Chunky Monkey is one of Ben & Jerry's most popular flavors. Like most factory-made ice creams, it begins as a mix. Then come the add-ins, walnuts and pieces of chocolate.
So this is where we bring Ben & Jerry's to life. This is where we know it as our chunk feeder, where we add fruit, we add chunks, not chips, we add serious chunks.
The serious chunks first go into the hopper, a bin that can hold up to 14 gallons of ingredients, which next drop into the enrobing chamber.
Enrobing?
There, a star wheel determines the amount of chunks to go into the ice cream mix by rotating at different speeds. The ice cream then enters the 4-foot-long blender tube, where an agitator made up of several paddles rotates and evenly distributes the chunks. From there, the ice cream continues to the automatic filler. Every day, the plant turns out about 320,000 pints.
So this is the end of the line before it hits the deep freeze. This is where no one gets to see it, and it's a nice, soft serve, creamy. This is good stuff.
You would think in a company as wildly successful as Ben & Jerry's, every flavor would be a hit.
Chocolate fudge brownie, number 3. That's my favorite.
Not so.
We had a vanilla ice cream with gummy worms in it, but the worms would freeze solid, so it was too much chew. We've tried hot chocolate, which was a chocolate ice cream with jalapeno peppers in it.
What?
We've even tried...
Bruh. Peppers?
Some more savory, less dessert kind of flavors like sour cream and onion ice cream. Not very...
Okay. I've talked before about how, like, I can't stand food-flavored food, if that makes sense. Like, jelly beans are, like, my biggest example. If you give me a popcorn-flavored jelly bean, I like jelly beans. I like popcorn. I do not like food-flavored jelly beans. And you're gonna argue with me. It's like, well, strawberries food. Yes, I get it, but it's like a staple, right? Like, it doesn't really taste like strawberries. Like grape flavored candy doesn't taste like grapes unless you get it from Japan. And then it confuses me because it's purple, but it tastes like actual grapes and not the color purple. But it's a texture thing, right? So, like, I'll eat that jelly bean and I'll be like, yeah, popcorn. And then I'm like, this isn't popcorn. Popcorn doesn't have this texture, and I hate it. So, like, I don't like non-conventionally food-flavored foods, if that makes sense. Like sour cream and onion ice cream. And apparently no one else likes that either. So, great. But, like, I hate that shit. Like, no, thank you. Stop. Like, no.
Very popular.
Bothers me.
What is popular, at least among some brave souls, is the party in a bucket, known as the Vermonster.
No! They're mixing different flavors. That shit's gonna melt together weird. No.
Every one of Ben & Jerry's 650 scoop shops.
The Vermonster is made up with 20 scoops of ice cream. You get to choose the flavors. We'll cut up 4 bananas into each Vermonster. We'll scoop in a couple handfuls of chocolate chip cookie pieces. We'll then scoop in brownies, all chunked up. You can get additional toppings as per your choice. We always top off the Vermonster with plenty of whipped cream. We also add in 4 ladles of hot fudge.
And there you have it.
Great. Just who are the people who come up with all the Ben & Jerry flavors?
Sometimes I feel like a mad scientist.
Yeah, I mean, with that
Meet
kind of
Peter
smile, you
Lynn,
look like one.
The man behind such flavors as wavy gravy.
I was a little upset about everything else going in the bucket. Like, we're not gonna, like, listen. I don't eat Ben & Jerry's rainbow sprinkles, okay? I get their chocolate fudge brownie, okay? And I live my life. But, like, what happened to actual rainbow sprinkles? Like, why is it always, like, 4 colors max?
And chocolate chip cookie dough.
It's more working from what your taste buds are telling you. What works together well, what textures connect.
Today, he's working on creating a pint-sized version of the Vermonster.
No.
It begins with plain vanilla ice cream. Then, Peter starts working his magic.
We need some chips, right? We gotta have chips. We're gonna have a little cookie dough. We'll put that in there, a little cookie dough. How about brownies? Sure, all right, why not? I like brownies. And some chocolate chip cookies for a different texture. And, well, let's put some cherries in. I know, cherries, wow, okay. Kind of sundae type of thing going on. Now, I will mix these up. There we go, nice, nice. Oh, I don't know, I think we need some M&Ms. Yeah, I think we need some M&Ms. This is a Vermonster, which does have M&M. All right, so I'm going to pop it right into my pastry bag here.
I hate it.
All it needs now is a little fudge. Then it's off to the freezer. 20 minutes later, the moment of truth.
Good crunch. Good viscosity on the fudge.
Okay, I disagree, because if he's like, hey, it's like the Vermonster, they just said the Vermonster was 20 different flavors that you get to choose. You're just making like a specific sundae, my guy. Like, you're just making a sundae with specific toppings. That's not the Vermonster. The Vermonster is a your choice kind of situation.
Good mushiness on the banana.
Mushy.
I could do this. This is a good start for a mini Vermonster.
Don't call it that,
You might
because it's
think
not what it
Ben &
is.
Jerry's has pushed ice cream to its limits. But some folks have taken things even further. Are these liquid nitrogen-created balls?
Fucking Dippin' Dots! We used to have a Dippin' Dots in town and it closed, and now it's like a Smoothie King. I don't need a Smoothie King. You fucking Dippin' Dots.
The future of ice cream?
You can buy Dippin' Dots to come to your house, but it's like $70. And it like freezes really quickly because it's like, or not freezes, it melts really quickly because it has to be on dry ice. And a lot of times when dry ice gets to you, like it doesn't take a lot of time for dry ice to dissipate or quote unquote melt or whatever. And if you put it in if you put Dippin' Dots in the freezer, they don't freeze right. So I'm just like, man, I'm tempted, but like I'm not $70 tempted, you know? I never end up getting Dippin' Dots at Comic-Con. Like I never want to stand in line for it. I never end up getting it. And also, like, a lot of times, there have been multiple times where I will buy myself and Ray food, and I'll be like, Ray, where the fuck are you? Like, come over here. We're eating. I got you food. You can't say no because it's a waste. Come here. And, like, we'll sit down, oftentimes in Artist Alley, and, like, we'll get called for something. Never fails. Every time. And I'm like, God, so I have to like leave behind my food. And I'm like, okay, no one touch this. It's mine. And like, I have to walk away from it and come back to it later. And I can't do that with ice cream. It'll melt.
Form of everything from a fudge-covered whale to specialty desserts that defy description.
It's the turtles, Abby.
But what does the future hold for this ever-evolving
They
treat?
were derpy.
One company claims to already have the answer.
The same way that a microwave oven reinvented the way that people cook their food, we've somewhat reinvented the way that people think of ice cream.
This is Dippin' Dots, the self-proclaimed ice cream of the future. Here in this nondescript Paducah, Kentucky plant, folks are churning out a unique product.
Dippin' Dots, Dippin' Dots, Dippin'
Unique
Dots.
because of its beaded shape, but also because it's been frozen cryogenically using liquid nitrogen. The process was the brainchild of microbiologist.
I was sad when we went to the zoo and the Dippin' Dots little cart wasn't open. I probably could have gotten it inside, maybe. But I was like, why is it? I understand that it's like December. Give me my fucking ice cream.
Kurt Jones.
I had been working on a project at work where we were freezing yogurt cultures, and I had developed a way to do it using liquid nitrogen, which is 320 below zero. It just made me think, I wonder if I could freeze ice cream in the same way and how it would react.
Kurt soon had his answer, and the result is Dippin' Dots. It all begins with a standard pasteurized mix that is flavored with one of Dippin' Dots' 30 flavors.
Y'all.
That's
The best things about like certain sports things, y'all are gonna get mad, are like events or whatever is the food, right? So like you go to like fairs, county fairs, or like certain sports games kind of things, and you can get Dippin' Dots and like fresh squeezed lemonade and like funnel cakes and like that kind of shit. I love that. Like, I guess I'm just gonna buy my way into this fair. I give no shits about anything else that's happening in this fair. I just want the food. I went to like a county fair in Rhode Island one year, and I walked up to this one specific place. Like, we were in a group, right? Because it was like a family thing, and we were in like a big group. And there was one place that was like Southern sweet tea. And I was like, oh boy, am I about to judge the shit out of you. And so like I stood in line. I was like, I'm gonna get this fucking sweet tea. I'm gonna have opinions about it. And like, I was like, hi, I would like the Southern sweet tea. And they looked at me and they were like, oh, you're not from here. And I'm like, no, I'm from the South, baby. Give me that sweet tea. It was okay. Like, it was definitely not, it was fine. I mean, I get it. This is the North. You can't give them like heart attacks or whatever. Like, it was fine. It's better than no sweet tea.
The fun begins.
Once we've completed the flavoring process, the product is then transferred to what you see behind me, a cryogenic processor. In the top of the processor, there's an instrument that allows a measured amount of mix to come into contact with liquid nitrogen, and then it freezes instantly.
Hell yeah.
That instrument at the top of the processor functions like an eyedropper, releasing the mix in tiny droplets. When the droplets hit the liquid nitrogen, they're flash frozen into beads that descend like BBs. An inclined auger releases a gallon of beads into each bag. Due to this radical freezing technique, the beads contain only the tiniest ice crystals and almost no air. They're also a lot colder than regular ice cream.
And they're crunchy. They're hard and they're crunchy.
Coming in at minus 20 degrees.
Scientifically speaking, it gives it a very...
So I, of course, like the chocolate one. Also, the rainbow ice, the one that they're showing, is also pretty good. But that's like, it's not ice creamy. It's like frozen flavored. It's like ice, right? Does that make sense? Like, it's more like a shaved ice kind of thing, or like maybe a sherbet. I don't know, but fucking yes.
Very creamy, smooth taste, even though it's a real fun and novel product.
The beads are immediately packed into bags to be shipped worldwide. To maintain their creaminess, they're stored in the subarctic minus 50-degree freezer.
Lots of times we like to tell everybody...
How often do they have to scrape the ice from this? Like, how often do they have to scrape this?
Buddy, it's the largest, coldest freezer in America because at that temperature it stores more product than any product like that in the U.S.
In 2007 alone, Dippin' Dots sold more than 2 million gallons of the chili beads. You'd have to have brain freeze to scoff at those numbers.
Dippin' Dots.
The future also looks bright for another innovative ice cream. Slow churned, first developed at dryers.
And we spent $20 million, 15 years in developing what is called slow churned, which is not added ingredients, it's a...
This man sounds like he could be like an old-timey like radio host or something. Like the way he talks, like the way he enunciates. Maybe that's just like because I live in the South and no one talks like that around here.
Process. And this process takes the temperature down and we freeze it much colder. And by doing so, you have a real fine...
Like, he definitely sounds like a salesman, you know? And I mean, I guess he's selling on this ice cream, but like, he's definitely like a salesman sounding guy.
Fine texture that gives a creaminess, a great appearance, and great flavor.
Compared to regular ice cream, slow churn has only half.
It's like he's almost got a Southern twang going on, but not quite. Like, y'all hear that? Like, is that just me? I don't know. Something about his voice is like hitting a weird part of my brain.
The fat and 30% fewer calories.
And essentially what we do is we create...
Like, he's almost like a Southern old-timey lawyer. Almost, but like not quite. He's like a mix between that and like a salesman. I don't know.
the perception in your mouth that the same amount of butterfat is there. By taking that butterfat and spreading it out to create a higher surface area relative to the volume of butterfat, and that then tricks your mouth into thinking, I ate a whole lot of butterfat.
Okay.
In recent years, nearly every ice cream manufacturer has come out with a slow-churned type of low-fat alternative.
The future of ice cream is bright. We grew up with America and ice cream, and it's become the #1 dessert in America. But there's still some star flavors yet to be created.
Hey. History. Yeah, like I was like, this is like, I don't know, man. Something about this. Something about hitting my brain in a weird way. Like I'm trying to figure out where his accent is. Like, I mean, he's good at selling on ice cream flavors.